Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Monday, February the 13th. The year's 2023. Let's talk trading. Overcoming mistakes with Walmall. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and different from Walmall's. Walmall, we've had quite the day. It's like we both kind of went off the rails this morning.
Oh yeah.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first, and then I'll go.
Yeah. Well, here's what I did, traders. I woke up. Well, actually, I should probably go back. I was in a trade from Friday where I had a take profit at 74, 120.74. And price opened yesterday, Sunday, well, Monday, depending on where you are, at 120.68 and dropped. It was like, you know what? It's like you couldn't give me 3 pips. So I was looking at it and looking at it, and I knew where my stop was going to be. And I went to bed. And anyway, I woke up and then I picked up my phone and I looked, and about 1 minute before I woke up, the pound shot up like a rocket, and it took me out of my trade. So when I look, it's like, oh, good, I got out of the trade. Well, then I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I see, oh, it's running up, and the thing is, it was running up on an M30 candle. And what did I do? I went short somewhere around I think it was at 85, because I thought I had a signal, but I was trading against the M30 candle color. Big no. And then I got another signal at right around 95, and you can see here price came down, and I had an opportunity to get out of that trade with a couple of pips, and I didn't. Well, then it ran up again, so then I shorted somewhere up here around, I think, 2010 level or 2013. I can't remember exactly, because it gave me another signal. And then I got out, and then I got back in and got out again of the third trade, but I was still in the first and the second trade. Well, then it came down, and I wound up taking a 6 pip loss on the first trade, and I think I picked up about 3, so it really wasn't a big loss. But I was just making mistakes, the whole way. And the comeback part for me was, okay, you take the signals, you kind of trust what you know, which is right here, price had rocketed up about, well, 52 pips on the H1, and it was, let's see, how many pips? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have that. 5 bars ago. I think that M30 was about, what was it, 50 some pips, Walmall?
Yeah, it was 52 pips.
Yeah, 52 pips, this big one. And I pretty much know that, the indicator 2 dots or EMA5 right here, it's like when it gets 18 or more pips away, it's going to come back. Well, what I neglected to consider is when you get a big candle like this, I like to call them return bars, or some people call them momentum candles. Well, with momentum, there's usually another push, and you can see here there was a second push, and then there was a third push before it reversed. That's something I know, but I didn't heed those things, and so I had to suffer through some drawdown. But I wound up getting out with an overall profit. So the lesson to be learned is, one, don't trade against the M30 candle color. If anything, I should have just waited and let that candle close, because I know almost every time there's going to be a chance maybe to make a little profit, or you let it close, maybe you make even a bigger profit. But I did not heed that. But I did work my way out of it. So, Walmall, you want to go over your mess?
Sure. So I
I'm not
started off.
laughing at you. It's just situational. It's just too funny.
Oh, I know it's just what it is. But I started off the day actually doing pretty good. I was actually within, literally probably a pip and a half, maybe 2 pips. Actually, a little bit more, like 2.5 pips away from making goal for the day. And I went into a trade, and it was actually a good trade. It was actually, I was going in the direction of the M30. Everything lined up perfectly. And what happened is that for whatever reason, the market's the market, and the market does what the market's going to go and do. And it turned around, and it's the type of thing where I had the momentum of the M30 going with me. We hadn't gotten to that magic number of 18 pips that you like to talk about all the time. I was above the indicator 2 or the EMA 5, whatever you want to call it. I mean, everything was there. There's no reason why I should, it shouldn't. But what happened was, I was, like I said, I needed 2.5 pips to go and make goal, and I was just like, I'm going to get my 2.5 pips. And I'm sitting there at 2 pips, which is what I normally would take on a trade like this. And I sat there, and the market just stalled out, and it just sat there. Now, one of two things happens when the market stalls out like that. It either will go jet up or it will jet down. That's just what it likes to go and do. And, well, I sat there, and I should have just said, take the trade off. In fact, I think I even sent it to you.
Yep, you did.
That, I need to get out here, and I sat there. And guess what? It went the other way. And it went against me pretty big, pretty quickly. And what happened? So that was a mistake. It's a minor mistake, but it's a mistake. But mistakes, they tend to compound themselves. At least in my world, they do. And what happened was, I had an opportunity. I got another buy signal. This was on a buy situation. I had another buy signal. I took the buy, and what happened was that it went up, and I was actually at the point again where I was in profit again, and should have gotten out there. But nope, I was greedy, and I let it set, and guess what? It ran against me, and ran against me far enough that that I was now underwater, pretty significantly. And I got another buy signal, but this time that buy signal didn't work out, and it just ran directly against me. And then I averaged it up a third time, so now in 4 trades, again, following my, what I'm supposed to do, and it was an actual true buy signal, and it ran against me, that third time. And this time it took me all the way to the point where I was down, I blew through my, you never lose more than 1% on a particular trade. It blew through that, and I just sat there, got handcuffed. And, I admitted to you on the phone that I'm in an emotional state right now. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But, I'm just like, I'm handcuffed. And I should have just gone and just punched out. And guess what? It ran down big on me. And next thing you know, I got out with 2.9% loss. And I've said on this channel many times before, my day is I never go and lose more than 3%. So I did honor that. So it was the first thing I did right since the beginning of the day. And what I did is I just kept on taking little trades, just trying to pick up 2 pips at a time, and just chiseling away to the point where I was no longer down to 3%. I was down like I would say probably 1.5%. And I got an opportunity where I said, okay, I'm going to take the chance now, and let's see if this thing can run for me. And this time it did run, and I got a stack on situation because it ran up, and it ran up like about 7 pips, 6 or 7 pips, and then I stacked in again, or actually stacked on for the first time, and then it ran the rest of the way, and I got out. And when I got out of those 2 trades, I finally made up at 2.9%, or pretty close to it. I was still down, probably the equivalent of maybe 2 pips. And but since then, I've now taken a couple other trades, and I'm now up. What am I up? I'm up 3.6. Well, what a way to go and do it! I'm up 3.6%, 3.6 pips. So that's, for me, that's a terrible day. But comparatively speaking to where I was at, I was able to make it up. And I think the lesson for me in this is that, one, when I got handcuffed like that, and I was in emotional whatever, I should have just I should have punched out. Call it the end of the day. I should never have gone and broken my first rule of don't lose more than the 1%. So it's just like cascading mistakes one after the other, and I knew I was making those mistakes. I was emotionally handcuffed, and I continued to make mistakes until finally I hit that trigger that I had no choice but to get out at that point because my EA took me out. I had no choice. It took me out. I don't know if I would have gotten out, to be honest. The EA took me out, and thank goodness for the EA sitting there doing the job that I should have been doing, and that's a good thing to have, I guess. And they're just there are two ways. I happen to use one particular EA, and I know Tiara, you've got another EA that I don't know if that's part of your donation or not.
No, I don't. I don't send out I never
Okay.
give EAs out.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
Right.
But the thing is, there are other EAs you can get out on the internet that are freebies, and that most of them work just fine. But test them out, demo first before you go and use them. But the great thing about them is the fact that when you get emotionally handcuffed like I did, it can save your butt. And it saved my butt today. And I guess the second thing is that I still had that 0.1% that I could go and trade, and I had walked away for a good half hour, 45 minutes, got my head back together, figured out what was going on emotionally, got that all settled, and then at that point I sat down. But I sat down with very strict rules that as soon as if I lost that 0.1%, I'm gone. I'm out, and that's it. That's the end of the day, because I don't want to ruin tomorrow's trading. And I got lucky, took the first trade, and what it did is it won me a little bit of money, which meant that I was no longer with that handicap of 0.1%. I now had probably a handicap of 0.3%, something like that, I guess. And you just chip away. And so the moral of that story is, what? The market, the great thing about the market is that there's always another trade coming. Even when you screw up, even when you make mistakes, what? Just get back on top of your game. Do what you got to do. Get your head cleared out. Do what you got to do to go and fix the psychology in your head, the emotions in your head, and then get back at it, and work at it and make it work.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, do you have a routine that clears your head, like, or is it kind of like you said, you just get up, take a walk, and then come back, or there's
I went out. Usually, what I do is my routine is that I go, go take a potty break. Then go outside, walk around outside, and I'll do that even if it's raining out, sunny out. It doesn't make any difference. Just just go outside and just look at creation for a few minutes, and remember who we are in terms of creation. Get your head recentered and refocused, and realize that hey, we all make mistakes. None of us are infallible. I can have great days, day after day after day, and I can have an absolutely horrible day because I'm I'm not infallible, and I'm going to make those mistakes.
right, right. So
So I guess
anyway, yeah. So fellow traders, I guess you guys that listen or watch these videos, don't put us on a pedestal. I mean, we make mistakes. We're human. Um, but there are things we can all learn from each other, and overcoming mistakes is definitely one of them, because losses is one thing, and sometimes you didn't do anything wrong, the market just created a loss for you, or never gave you an opportunity for a win, but you just don't want to make things worse by making a mistake. Because when you're at your trading terminal or screen or phone, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.